And I know what you're thinking. You're sitting here seeing this VEVOR tag here on the front of this box, and you're sitting here thinking, oh, this guy's like everybody else. He's reviewing the VEVOR stuff. Well, I'll be honest with you. I didn't really want to, review the VEVOR stuff, but, I've been seeing more and more and more VEVOR stuff just popping up with a VEVOR brand on it. And to be honest with you, I'm kind of a little bit of a tool snob. When it comes to, hand tools, I want to use, good brands, on like sockets and ratchets and things like that. And, I've kind of stayed away and tried not to review some of the VEVOR stuff just because I had my idea of what I thought it was. I thought it was probably just like the Amazon version of Harbor Freight. But I gotta say, I've been very impressed with this. From the time I picked this thing up, I was really shocked. I mean, this is a really heavy kit, 31.7 pounds. So the first thing I noticed about the case is it does have like a little axle there in the middle that's made out of metal. The rest of it is, I guess, just blow molded plastic. And it does open up good. It does have some latches here on each side. There's one here, there's one on this other side, and then there's two here in the front. I'll go ahead and open those up, and I'm going to show you what all you get. I don't know if the sockets are any good yet. I've not tested them, so I'm not going to tell you guys, hey, these are awesome, but I plan on putting these things to use here in the next couple of days, and I'm going to really test them out and put them on the old impact wrench. So I just wanted to show you guys that it's about 16.5 inches from top to bottom, and about 21 inches from side to side there. There is a plethora of sockets in this set. This is the 65-piece set. If you look right here on the top, it starts at 10 millimeter and it goes all the way to 24, and there's no skips in between. So they're all there. You don't normally see that. There's usually one or two missing depending on which sets you get from which company you get it from. And then the same thing with the deep as with the shallow. You've got the 10 millimeter all the way to 24 millimeter. And then when you come down here to the standard, you've got 3/8 all the way to 1.25 inch, and that's on the deep and the shallow. That's a lot of freaking sockets. And then you've got this extension right here. This is a 10-inch extension, and then you've got a ratchet here. And I thought, man, this is probably just going to be some piece of crap. I ain't gonna lie. I picked it up and I thought, let's go ahead and see what it sounds like. But it actually sounds really good. Listen. It's got some real positive clicks in it, and you can tell that it's seems like a pretty decent ratchet. I mean, literally. It sounds like it's gonna be a good one. Now, I can't tell if this thing's gonna hold up for how many years or whatever, but it does seem like it's made pretty well. Now, the head looks like it's replaceable. Looks like there's an Allen head right there that takes this loose, and then you flip it over and you can see there's two bolts right there where you could undo it from this side as well, and that should just pull out, and that way you can get in there and grease it. And I don't know if they sell replacement gears in there for it or not. I haven't checked into that. Probably not, but I don't know if you can replace this with another gear set from another company or not. I know some of the Icon stuff you can switch out the gear set for, like some of the Snap-on stuff. So who knows, you might be able to do the same with this. I don't know. And then here you've got this adapter. This is a 3/8 drive to a 1/2 inch drive, and then you've got another adapter here. This is a 1/2 inch drive down to a 3/8 metal adapter. And then over here, you've got just a small 3-inch extension, and it's got the little ball there to hold your socket on. And then you've got a little wobble 1/2 inch on both sides. So yeah, like, I have not put this to the test, but it does feel pretty smooth. So I'll try to test it out for you guys. And then this right here, this is a 5-inch extension. So I gotta say, you get a lot for your money with this kit. I mean, literally. And then you can see right here that the size and the name is stamped on each one of them. It's laser laser engraved. And then down here, you can see that it's also stamped in. Right there is your size, 7/16, and then 7/16 right there. Now it's kind of hard to read this part right here at the very bottom, but you can clearly see the VEVOR 7/16 on there. And if you're wondering why some of them look a little oily, some of them are oily, some of them are a little dry. You know, most of your impact sockets, you know, are usually rubbed down with oil just because you don't want them to rust. So that's probably what I'll do, is just take and wipe them down with some oil, and that way, you know, I'm not always going to be using these all the time, and so I don't want them just to sit in the case and rust. So, but as far as the looks of them goes, very impressed. And they even thought about putting a piece of foam in there just to keep it from rattling around, because I know from past experience with buying some of the tool kits and stuff, if you don't have that foam in there, these things are going to rattle and drive you absolutely insane if you get them in a vehicle or something. All right, so for this whole kit, it's $78.90. If this turns out to be a good set and, you know, it holds up and it doesn't break, then that is a steal of a deal. I mean, really, to get that complete of a set without missing any sizes in between, that's unheard of. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap this video up tonight. It's getting kind of late. It's about midnight. Till tomorrow, guys. See ya. And I'm fixing to use the 1-inch shallow socket, and what I'm going to be doing is hooking it up to my rigid impact. It's a 1/2-inch drive impact, and I've got a full 8-amp-hour battery. And just to show you, it's fully charged. Let me see if I can match the, there it goes. See all 4 of the lights light up. And what I'm going to be doing is here on the bottom of my little welding table that I've got, I'm going to go ahead and you see the adjuster bolts down there on the bottom. Well, that's what levels the table. And so the front 2 right here, they've been you know, loosened recently, within the last month or so, month or 2. But the back one there, it is completely seized up. Yeah, like I said, that thing ain't been touched in years and years and years. And so I'm gonna go ahead and zap that thing off, and I just wanted you guys to see. Here we go. Guess that was the wrong size. I thought I had the right size on there. I'm sorry. I was wrong. It was a 15/16 is the size that I needed. And you guys can see that this thing is still locked up. It ain't moved. Threads off. I tightened it up, and then I loosened it, and it's got that jam nut on there, so it's not going to loosen all the way off. But you can see it cleaned that thread off really good. I wasn't joking. I mean, you can see all the rust that's on the threads, and how this one's, you know, a lot more cleaned off. Now I'm gonna try to zoom in real good on this front one here, and let's see if I can break it loose. I'm gonna tighten it up and drive it all the way down. You can see I got it all the way ran down to that nut right there. And go ahead and loosen it back up. Alright, there you go. So I just wanted to give you an inside look there at the socket. You can see that it didn't damage the socket in any way, and the shiny part down in there, that's where the head of that bolt bottomed out in there. Scratched the inside of the socket up a little bit, but there ain't no breaks or cracks or nothing in there. You can see, I mean, it was able to do the job. So just like pretty much any other impact socket. All right, so as you can see right here, I've got an old Dake arbor press. I've got it off Facebook Marketplace a few weeks ago. It's like a $1,200 press. I got it for $150, and so it was in great shape. All I did was come home and wash it, and I've not tried to pull any of the bolts off. In fact, it kind of seized up because I left it outside and it rusted, and the handle there kind of seized up a little bit. I got it broke loose, but I wanted to take these bolts out of it and service the unit by, well, I guess lubricating it, the gear and all that. There's like a little, I believe, a brass or bronze bushing in there. I was going to clean it up and just see what kind of shape it is, inspect it. Fixing to test the ratchet out, and then this right here is 1/2 inch, and I'm going to go ahead and just connect them. You can see it's got the little push button there in the middle, and just helps slide it on. So I've got where to loosen, and we're going to go ahead and pull these off for the first time. Now, I don't really know how old this press is. They started making them in the 40s, so there's really no way of dating them as far as I know. But yeah, come off pretty easy. The old guy that I got this from, he said that he had never serviced it, so sure is coming off pretty easy. And you seen that, I was able to take it off. The ratchet seems to work pretty good. It's kind of hard to tell because it was so loose on there. Didn't really give it much of a struggle. So here we go. We got the VEVOR 1/2 inch ratchet. I've got the little 5 inch extension, and then I've got the 7/8 shallow socket. And I don't know if I can do it or not. I'm gonna try. I have never tried to break these loose with just a ratchet, but I figured that would put it to the test. I don't know if I've got enough strength to break it, but I'll at least show you what strength I do have and see if I can loosen it up. So let's see here. I'm trying to raise up on it, so ain't no way I can break it that way, and I ain't gonna hurt myself trying to do it. I will put it on the impact and get it zapped off. Now I'm using the shallow. Normally when doing this, I would just usually grab the deep, because I would only have the deep sockets. I usually wouldn't have the shallow ones. So let's put this one to the test. You can see right there that fits really good in that shallow socket. So this is good for lug nuts. All right, so now we're going to tighten it up. You can see ain't nothing wrong with the socket. It's not damaged in any way. Let me pull it off where you guys can see. It's not cracked or hurt, which I didn't expect it to, but I do want to test them, make sure that they're strong enough for me to say, hey, they work good, buy them. You know what I mean? I don't want to just say, hey, buy them and they be crap. But so far they're pretty good so far. All right, guys, so I'm gonna do something a little bit different. I figured probably the weakest link in this kit would probably be this little swivel here, you know, where it swivels around. 1/2 inch on this side, 1/2 inch on this side. Like I said, I figured if anything would break, it would probably be this, just because it's more moving parts. Anyways, I guess what I'm gonna do is go ahead and try to remove another lug nut that's not been removed, and see if I can do it with this, and see if that that little swivel can hold up to the torque of the impact. So let's go ahead and try it on this bottom lug nut there. I wanted to make sure I had it in reverse. You can see I hammered on it. I'm gonna try to use a deep well. Let's try it with a deep. I couldn't do it with a shallow. Let's try it with a deep. Yeah, broke it loose. There you go. I told you guys I'd hammer on it, and I did. So it did knock it loose with the deep, just because it has probably a lot more weight. So when it hammers, you know, it's going to hit harder. So, and it wasn't able to do it with a shallow. This probably just wasn't heavy enough. So anyways, we did put this to the test on the swivel there. You can see that some of the coating kind of rubbed off on it, but that's to be expected from, you know, all that hammering. Still goes on there good. Nothing broke, you know. And I'm gonna put it back on with the deep. I just want to make sure I got it turning the right way. And there you go. You seen there's no damage to the deep. socket there, and then there's no damage to the shallow. And then the spring on the inside still, I don't know how well you guys can see that, but there is a spring, little cool spring in there, I guess pushing up on this so it doesn't fall down. You can kind of push down on it a little bit, but yeah, it's not broke or damaged or anything, still works as it should. So I just wanted to give you guys a close-up with the light off the camera there, show you what it looks like. There's no damage, and then right here is where you can see in there, and that little, it's like a little coil spring that puts tension on this to keep it from, you know, being so sloppy. All right guys, so I've got a set of cheap sockets that I got gosh, probably 30 years ago at a tool show with my buddy, and I think it was like a Cummings tool show, and we went to like the National Guard Armory and they were set up, and I bought these and I've used these, and you know, they're fine. I didn't pay much money for them. I think maybe 10 or 15 bucks, you know, many years ago. And the one thing that I always found out with these and a lot of other sets is, you know, when you go down through here and you get to looking, I've got a 10, 11, a 12, a 13, a 14, but I'm missing the 15. So I got a 16, a 17, but I'm missing the 18. I have the 19, missing the 20. I've got the 21 and the 22. So this is what's the matter with a lot of the sets. And, you know, by the time you buy all the different sets that you would need to make this set, plus the ratchet, the extensions and all that, you'll have a hell of a lot more money in trying to, you know, buy little sets like this rather than just, you know, get this set. Anyways, I've got a lag bolt here. I'm just gonna see if I can drive it all the way through there. This is a 9/16 VEVOR socket, and I haven't tried it before. This is a 4x4. Let's see. Try not to touch it because I know it's going to be hot. A little bit of paint's rubbed off on the inside of the socket, or I guess that might be black oxide coating, I'm not real sure, but you know, it didn't hurt the socket, and these things seem to be pretty tough, and just been very pleased with them. Now, some of the stuff that I wrote down that I seen on Amazon, it says that the corners of the sockets are a radius design, and yeah, you can see it. It's got a little bit of a radius there in the corners. I don't know, let me get a bigger socket where you guys might be able to see it a little bit better. You can see the corners have a radius design in them, and then it's the CR-V alloy steel, and these have a hardness rating of 42 to 48 on the Rockwell hardness scale, and this whole kit's $67.06 right now. Now, I don't know if it's going to change and go up in price. I couldn't tell you, but you know, right now, when I just looked on Amazon 5 minutes ago, this is how much they cost, and you can see that everything that was in here seems to be of nice quality. Now, when you get it, you know, so there's going to be a few little scratches and things in that, I guess, black oxide coating, but I mean, that's just typical with impact stuff. So it's going to get scratched up. So I would definitely keep a little light coating of oil on them just to prevent them from rusting, but that's totally normal. Use that on that lag bolt over and over, and it didn't have any problems. So now you can see, ooh man, I forgot to pick that thing up. Lord have mercy. You can see where, you know, it's knocked some of the metal off. I can see it. I don't know if you can zoom in on it. There's like a little piece right there. You can see that that's part of the bolt, and so, you know, it didn't hurt the socket at all. Normally impact sockets are softer and they dent and round off, but these seem to be a lot harder than the other impact sockets that I have, that I got, you know, 25, 30 years ago. All right, guys, I just wanted to wrap this video up. Sorry I couldn't break them for you or damage them or have something cool to show you or tell you. I mean, they're good sockets. Like I said, I wasn't expecting that much out of them, and they really did deliver. Now, just for kicks, I went online and I just Googled, impact socket set master set, and some of the prices that I was seeing on line is just crazy. I mean, literally, when you get into those bigger socket sets with the multiple pieces like that one's 65 pieces in the VEVOR kit. When you get on up there in the higher piece count, these get very expensive. And I'm just letting you know, the Harbor Freight stuff, they can't even compete with that price. I don't know how they're making it and selling it that cheap. I mean, I know it comes from China, but even at that, I don't see how they're making hardly anything on it. I mean, I could be totally wrong, but let's just say they have $20 in it. They're not still making a whole lot. So I've noticed just a trend over the last year. VEVOR stuff has really been making its way. Seems like they make everything now. I mean, literally, you get on Amazon and everything is VEVOR brand. And so it might be a company to start looking out for. And I guess next time I won't be so judgy when it comes to my tools. Now, like I said, I'm not gonna quit collecting my Craftsman USA stuff and my Snap-on and Mac, but that is a good kit. Now, one thing I did want to point out is the sidewalls are really thick on these sockets. They're way thicker than the ones that I bought many years ago. I meant to show that, but they're a lot thicker in the sidewall, and I've noticed that they seem to hit harder because they have that extra weight in there. It seems like it makes that socket heavier. It makes your impact just hammer a lot harder using that extra weight. So I didn't have any problems with them, so I totally recommend VEVOR sockets. I'm gonna probably try to review some more VEVOR stuff and see if I can find anything wrong with it, but as of now, good stuff. I don't think you'll beat the price. So thanks for watching, guys. Till next time, please like and subscribe to the channel, and as always, give you an honest review, and I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.